Classroom learning is vital for a child's success, so being consistently absent as a young student hinders their learning experience greatly. Linkages strives to eradicate this problem by working to make daily attendance a priority across all levels of education.
Attendance matters a tremendous amount, much more than we ever realized, even starting as early as kindergarten, possibly even earlier than that. What we know from national research is that if you don't just look at unexcused absences or truancy, but look at all absences, we already know that 1 out of 10 kindergartners actually miss 10% or about a month or more of school.
Well, because we're pre-K through 5th grade, and pre-K in our state is not required, it has been kind of the feeling of a lot of parents that pre-K is not as important as the other grades, and even to some degree, kindergarten parents feel like, well, they're so young. It's just kindergarten or it's just pre-K. And really we're finding through research, and not just our own findings, but through research, that it is important. And when they're not in class, they don't get that interaction with other kids, and they're losing out on not just learning how to get along with other people, but actually they're missing out on learning the actual curriculum.
On Monday, as a lot of times when students are absent and they miss the whole introduction for the math unit, for the reading unit, and they're behind on Tuesday because they have no idea what we're talking about. On Friday, if they're always absent, they miss the assessments that we're giving, and so it's really hard to get them caught up the next week. And then if they're late in the morning, that's my huge issue, is them being tardy in the morning, and that's what we do our journals. So it's basically free choice writing, and they're missing a lot of writing instruction and letter sound fluency for kindergarten.
If we can have a child reading on level, and when I say reading on level in kindergarten, I mean, do they know their letters? Do they know their sounds? Do they understand that those are put together to make words? If we can have kids doing that on level by the end of kindergarten, research shows that they will probably not be below level the rest of their career by kindergarten. So for us to look at pre-K and kindergarten and think attendance is not that important is false. It is hugely important.
There are certain families that are notoriously late, notoriously absent, and I'm not sure if they've really got to work when working with these parents. I'm not sure if they really got to the underlying issues of why.
I had a child who always would miss Mondays, and in 1st grade she started missing Mondays every week, and I had a pretty good relationship with her mom because I had had her the previous year. So I did. I kind of pulled that, serious card and said, this is a huge issue. She's missing our introduction to our story. That throws her behind for the whole week. She's missing the introduction of our spelling words. We work on them the most on Monday. We introduced the new math topic. And it was just a serious, sincere conversation that we had, and she started coming to school on Mondays. Mom just wanted to sleep in on Mondays. It was hard for them to get here. And now I have a brother this year, and he hasn't been absent at all.
Education in this country is very locally driven, so you have to have at the local level wonderful examples of how you can make a difference.
I think that we made more of a conscious effort to build that habit in families of attending school, that attendance does matter, it does affect their success.
I began talking more to parents at PTA meetings about how important attendance was. I explained a little bit in the spring how attendance was going to start affecting our school grade, and we're going to talk more about it this year.
As a teacher, in your classroom, I feel it's important that you come up with your own incentive. And my favorite incentive that we did was perfect attendance, and it was on a poster, and it was just the letters traced out for perfect attendance. And every time our whole class was here, we got to color in a letter. And once we had all of the letters colored, we had an ice cream sundae party, and that was a lot of fun. The kids really enjoyed it too.
There's a great story that was told by the McClure principal several years ago about how, as an elementary principal, she's seeing that a lot of her kids aren't coming when it rains. Well, why not? There's no sidewalks. There's no bus available. And so being able to identify, well, what's going on? And the work that culminated out of that, they were able to get some stuff done in that neighborhood so that they could help with that. So looking at those trends in a more global fashion of the neighborhood of the school to see what is it.
Flowers.
I think success will look like every school understanding what chronic absence is, why it matters for school success, and using that information to really build a culture of attendance, starting in pre-K, helping families to understand that attendance every day matters for their child's long-term success.